Welcome to You Can Cook Anything with Bob and JP. I'm JP, and today I'm doing eggs 3 ways. There are as many ways to cook eggs as there are people who like to cook them. Today I'm going to show you 3 different ways that I prepare eggs. We'd love to hear in the comments if you make your eggs a little bit differently, or if you learned something from seeing the way I prepare eggs. Let's get started. Okay, the first method that I'm using to cook eggs today is in the shell. So this is how you make a hard-boiled egg or a soft-boiled egg or a medium-boiled egg. It all depends on the amount of time that you leave the egg in the heat. Now, rather than boiling eggs, what I like to do is steam the eggs. I find that steaming the eggs gives me a little bit more consistency, and I actually like the texture of the egg a little bit better than a boiled egg. What you're going to need is a pot and about 1 inch of water in the bottom of the pot. One of the benefits of steaming eggs is that you can use less water. You just need enough water so that the water boils and creates steam. It takes a lot less time to boil just 1 inch of water in your pot than it does to boil a whole pot of water. Now, once that water is boiling and producing a lot of steam, it's time to put your steamer basket on and get your eggs ready. I'm going to be doing eggs at 2 different times. I'm going to do an 8-minute egg, and I'm also going to be doing a 12-minute egg so that we can see the difference between those 2 times. Be careful not to burn yourself, and put a tight-fitting lid on top of your pot. You want to keep as much steam in there as possible because that hot steam is what's cooking your eggs. You can actually put the eggs directly in the water if you don't have a steamer basket, and that will work just fine, but the time it takes might be slightly different from what you see in this video. What I suggest you do is keep close attention to the results that you get at different times, and make sure you write down the time it takes to cook the egg just the way you like it. That way you can repeat your results exactly to your taste every time that you steam eggs. Okay, now that 8 minutes has passed, I'm going to plunge the 8-minute egg into cool water to stop the cooking process. 4 more minutes for the 12-minute eggs. Okay, the timer's up. I'm going to take the 12-minute eggs out and I'm going to add them to the cool water. It can be difficult to peel hot eggs, so sometimes it's best to let them thoroughly cool before you peel them, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and peel these eggs. It's easiest to peel eggs under running water or in a bowl of water. Since I'm outside, I'm opting for the bowl. As you can see, quite a difference between the 8-minute egg and the 12-minute egg. The 8-minute egg is a medium cooked egg. It's not quite soft, but it's not completely hard boiled. It's got a rich flavor and it's got a creamy consistency. The hard-cooked egg is perfect for your egg salads or any other recipe that calls for a hard-boiled egg. The second method I'm going to show you today to cook eggs is a little bit unusual. It's fairly new to me, and it's sort of a mock poached egg. It may not satisfy all the requirements that some people have for poached eggs, but it does hit many of the highlights. First, heat a pan to medium heat. Give it a quick spray with non-stick spray. This is a non-stick pan, but just a tiny bit of spray will really help the egg release better, and it turns out to be rather important. Put the egg in the pan. Take a spatula and make sure that the edge of the egg releases from the pan. Now here's where it gets a little bit strange. You're going to pour hot water into the pan, just enough water so that the egg kind of floats. So what's happening here is this water is going to prevent the egg from frying, and it's going to boil and steam the egg, very similar to what happens to a poached egg. Now, put a cover on your pan. It really helps to have a glass cover. That way you can watch the progress of the egg as it cooks. You want the white to be firm, but you don't want the yolk to cook through. This is going to take you about 1.5 to 2 minutes in this method, but you might want to judge the time for yourself depending on how you like your egg cooked. You can achieve a slightly similar shape to a poached egg by flipping up the sides of your egg. It won't be perfect, but it will be similar. Once the egg's done, lift it out of the water, let it drain for a few seconds, and then place it on your toast or a hamburger bun if you found that you didn't have any white bread in the house. And this is your fake poached egg, FAUXCHED egg, I guess. The whites are going to be tender but firm, and the yolk is going to be just runny enough and rich as it runs all over your toast and just is generally delicious. Now, the spray oil doesn't really add that much in the way of calories or change the texture of the bottom of the egg, but I attempted this without any spray oil at all, and I can tell you it didn't go that well. The egg did not release from the bottom of the pan as easily as it does with the spray oil. Just a tiny bit of oil allowed the water to flow underneath the egg, float it up, and prevent it from frying. And this last method is the way that I prefer to eat eggs. It's the way I ate eggs growing up, the way my grandmother and my mother made eggs for me. It's your basic fried egg. For this method, you're going to need a pan. A non-stick pan isn't required, but it helps. Add some neutral oil to the pan and heat it up to medium, or about 360 degrees at least. I'd say I have a bit more oil than you really need. Once your oil is hot, add your eggs to the pan. And now, as the eggs are cooking, you're going to use a spoon to ladle the oil over the top of the eggs. That way the eggs cook more evenly. These are going to be sunny side up fried eggs, and since we're not going to flip them, we're going to use the oil to cook the top of the eggs. Now, you're going to cook these eggs to your desired doneness, and there are two things that can control that. The first thing is the amount of time, obviously, that you leave the eggs in the oil. The longer the time, the more cooked your eggs will be. The second factor is the temperature of the oil. If you want less well-done yolks, then use a hotter oil so that the whites cook faster. If you want your yolks to be medium cooked or well cooked, use a lower temperature oil so that the whites don't burn and you get a more fully cooked yolk. In this video, I'm going to cook these eggs medium, but my usual preference is to leave the yolks just a little runny. After about 3 minutes, they should be medium cooked, so go ahead and pull them out. Let the oil drain a little bit and place them in a plate. You can actually reserve the oil and cook quite a few more eggs. And in my family, we use flat Syrian bread to eat our eggs by mashing them and making little mouthfuls. And this very simple thing is one of my absolute favorite comfort foods. Well, there you have it, eggs 3 ways. If you saw anything different than what you usually do and want to leave a comment, we'd love to read it. If you enjoyed the video, please click like. And if you want to see more videos like this one, please hit the subscribe button. Remember what Bob and I always say.